all. You have reached Russ Grease with RWG-Research.com. Open-source-energy.
Video series RWG-OSD Oversized Delta. I blew up and stuff, and that's it. You understand why I wear a hat, right? Okay, good. What's up, everybody? I think you know, my name's Russ. If not, welcome, new subscribers. Haven't said anything to you all. Welcome to the madness. Today's video, RWGResearch.com, just so you know. Today's video, it's about this and why that. So, let's get started. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to put a little snippet in here. I did not plan on doing this, but I think it's a good time to put it in here. So as you guys know, or I think you know, I'm building this second printer, but I'm going to use the original parts, the motors, the belts, a few other things, electronics, all that stuff. I was going to actually use it on the newest build. So let me tell you a little story about so let me tell you the things that I already have and the things I need. The things I have, most of the hardware I already have. The slide rails I'm building, the bearings and stuff, as you saw, I sort of already found a lot of that. The 80/20 frame, I already had that stuff. I already have end stops. These are actually Hall effect end stops. I have some extra I bought for the Z probing effect and stuff. I bought a few extra because they were like $3 a piece. Anytime they're like $3, I usually order a couple extra things like that. So I have those. And then the most important thing that I already have is belts. So the belts that I have are GT2 timing belts, 2mm pitch, 762 teeth. Pretty big belts. These are a single piece of belting. These are not spliced belting. So those are the things I had, and by the way, there's something special about using a solid belt, something that's not spliced. It's nice to have. If you have a piece of belting like 5 meters long and you cut it to make the lengths you want it, that's cool, it works. But I personally enjoy having a single piece of belting. So I have to really maximize the machine for that particular belt that I have in hand. So the things that I need, the motors, which are one of the more expensive parts, and I've already got those on order. Actually, they're already here. We'll get to those later. And then the hot end, which I'm going to build my own anyway, so there's no reason to worry about the hot end. I'm going to build it from scratch. I enjoy that. So the only other thing I need is electronics. This is what made me decide that I think I'm going to just completely finish the second printer without touching the first one, the original Rostock. So the electronics I found were $35.50. $2 for tracking. Okay, I don't know how they make this stuff so cheap. I feel sorry for the people who put this stuff together, but it's available to purchase, so I guess I won't feel too guilty, because I don't know what goes on behind the scenes anyway. So this thing has the ramps 1.4, which I don't mind. I'll stick with ramps. It seems to be working fine. I'm sure the other versions of stuff are better, but I'll stick with it. The Mega 256 R3 board, 5 A4988 stepper motor drivers with heat sinks, and a 12864 LCD control board with the SD card reader and the adjustable knob on the front and stuff. So $35.50. You don't need tracking, but I got it anyway. $2 for that. Free shipping. I just don't know, man. That just really made me say, okay. That's usually the more expensive part. $150 easy is what I spent on the other one. So I'm like, alright, let's go for it. So yes, I will be building a brand new complete system without tearing apart the other one. So I thought I'd throw that in here. So let's get back to what I was trying to explain. Listen closely. I think you'll find it interesting. So I wanted to show you guys exactly what I was thinking. So first of all, where do we start? I built this big contraption over here now because I thought I could re-engineer this. So let me show you, according to what I'm visualizing here, why I didn't do it in the first place. I told you guys I had this stuff for a long time ago. Way before I built this printer, I had this stuff. I was building projects with it in small pieces, but I didn't have a piece big enough to cover from the very bottom of this to the very top of that, which is what I wanted. I want to go from the bottom to the top. These pieces aren't actually long enough. They're a little short to have the rails all the way down and sort of have everything confined in there. So I was thinking to myself, if you look here, first of all, in the original Roztok, the bed is pretty well on the bottom surface. So you only lose, you know, well, whatever this distance is, we can look. You only theoretically lose about 2 inches of your belt. These belts, there's a clock. Can't hear it, can you? These belts are only so long. They are not lengths of belt that have been cut. These are actual belts designed for this. I forgot the length, 400 and something, 600 and something. I don't know. I'll try to figure it out later. But if you look here, the arm, oh, we're locked. There we go. Break it loose up there. Okay. That's the bad thing about the bushings. They do tend to stick until they warm up. So if you look here, if you bring this all the way down to where the end effector is hitting the bed, I basically have this much belt. This is all waste. The slides here go all the way to the top, so you don't waste any space up there. But down here you waste all of this space. So just for fun, let's just bring this all the way over to my maximum. You know, this is like the maximum reach on my printer right now as it stands. And let me get you a little closer so you can see this better, because I think it's important to see it a little better. Okay, so the pulley is here, and the end effector is here. Basically, the end stop is right here. So, you know, in theory, if we were to measure and get the maximum potential out of this thing, we're losing about 8 inches. More realistically, probably about 7.5 if you wanted to max this guy out, which I plan on doing. And so I thought to myself, well, yeah, this is a waste of space, so how do we fix this? The only way I could really figure out the best way to do this was, one, you could move the bed down. So I could literally gain almost 2 inches here. Move the bed down back to the bottom, but I have space in here to keep the heat away from the base. Or two, we could take this motor and put it on the top and have the bottom pulley, which is up there, here. And so you actually will gain this much belt. You actually gain, you know, 7 inches of belt. 7.5 if you wanted to max it out. So I thought, okay, yes, that's a great option. We will max this thing out according to flipping the motors and putting them on the top. So on this particular setup, which is going to be kind of hard to see because the light's terrible, up here, right there, I've taped the motor temporarily. This used to look better. I'll have to put some photos in place of this. I have a belt here. This belt basically stretches 29 inches. If I were to stretch this belt from maximum to maximum, I can get about 29 inches out of them with my 20-tooth pulley. I don't have the original pulleys. I have a 20-tooth pulley. So I was thinking to myself, put the motors up there, maximize everything, and then on the actual part that's going to be sliding up and down this rail, I mean, literally get the belt and the pulley all the way as maximum as you possibly can, which is what I've done here. So this should work very well. I honestly don't know if I have to invert just the motors or if everything is easily flippable, or just switch the pins, the actual pins on the Arduino on the firmware. I'm not quite sure if it'll function the same because it's actually completely different, but I would think actually it would work just fine. So that's totally a question I have no idea how to answer. So that's my logic behind using these, because now these belts reach pretty well to the maximum on the inside of here, which means I gain some inches, 7.5 approximately if you want to max it out, according to my original Roztok here. So I think this is going to work well. Let me get you some better shots of this because I'm going to show you some more stuff. Alright, so I realize I can't get all this in the shot, but to give you a close-up, I'm going to need to be able to get the camera out here. So, for instance, I told you guys I was really thinking heavily about how I can make this work and what are the best options. And I did a lot of measuring. I took some blank sticks here and just marked inches on here to find out how far my rod ends need to be before, you know, I max everything out. And, you know, I really don't gain a whole lot if I sort of want to keep everything inside these rails, which is what my original intention was to keep everything in here. So if I want to maximize circle diameter, all right, I need arms that are about 13.5 inches. I could leave these arms, as you can see, I moved this arm in. This one is all the way to the outside. It's actually probably going to end up being like this with this extra space so that I can keep this flat edge in the bed inside of this thing. So after doing lots of checking, if I make this distance shorter, then I gain in vertical height. If I make this longer, then I lose in vertical height. So I think I've got it balanced out pretty well where I gain in all dimensions. So let's get you a, yeah, fair enough. I've drawn circles on here, you can see. Basically it's the same as the arm length, which is 13.5 inches. This is if I lay these arms out vertical. So 13.5 inch diameter keeps me inside these rails. Now in theory, because I've got these arms so far apart, I could actually make them all the way out, which is what I originally measured, you know, like 17.5 inches. I could do that, but then I lose all of my height, and that's bad. So up here, I did the kind of exact opposite. If the arms are completely against the top, I've also taken another stick and put dimensions on here. And if you look, I can actually get, if I measure this, now I'm going to lose, you know, an inch here because I'm going to have a plate and stuff under here. But if it is exactly what it is right now, and I'm at 13.5, this measurement shows about 18.5. It's more about 19 because this is hanging low right now. It's about to fall off. So approximately 19 inches of actual usable area here and 13.5 inches of usable area there. I'd say probably 13 is going to be a more realistic maximum because I'll be literally on the edge of this bed if I do 13.5, but I should be able to do it. Now one thing to remember is that's if I print on the very outside, all the way maximum, and all the way to the top, which is highly unlikely. So in theory I could move this in, right, and get a sort of a little bit more realistic measurement. If I printed something that was approximately 6 inches in diameter, now we just gained an inch. Oh no, I'm sorry. We gained only about 1/2 inch. So, you know, I think that's plenty. Currently, in case you're curious, this one, and I don't have a round bed on here, but a square bed, so I really can only get about 7 inches by 7.5. That's really my maximum on this. And I can only get about 13.5 there, but again, we have to actually bring these arms completely over and one at a vertical position. I'm only at 12.25 inches. So I really do gain a lot by doing this, and I think it's going to be beneficial. So yeah, that's about it. Alright, well, this is a mess. So anyway, this is the mess I've got myself in. I actually like the fact that this is offset in a little bit because I plan on putting a counterweight on the back side of this. Now, another quick note, you know, this looks really big, but if you think about it, I've got this arm hanging off here. That makes this printer about 24 inches. You know, the footing of this printer is about 24 inches. Plus I got stuff hanging off the back where the counterweight is. And this one, if you measure it this way, is 20 inches. So, I mean, honestly, the footprint's about the same. She says no. Yeah, but I gain more area. Yeah, the bigger the better. sometimes. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Peace out. Till next time. I guess watch other videos or something. I don't know. Do something. Have fun. Peace. Bye. Mic check. 1, 2. Can you mic check?
1, 2,
Mic check.
5, 10,
Okay.
5,
Okay.
10,
To the square root of 6 is?
25.
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
We'll find out from the comments, I'm sure. I should really put a hat on. Jeez. Anyway, I'm not going to. I've been extruding aluminum as an experimental setup, so let me remove that so I can show you what's going on. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I've been really working on this. Secret project. Okay, for real. I wanted to go, I did a and stuff, and that's it.